Have you ever wondered how types of games like that sandbox game for mobile works? Me neither. Just kidding. Let's check it out. And yeah, that was supposed to be funny, guys. These games look interesting, especially when there are more functions like water or heat simulation. But the main concept is the same. There are a bunch of particles that have their own properties and moves on the screen according to several rules, like gravity. In today's video, we will code our own sandbox game that can simulate sand by using simple rules. I designed the game as follows. We will write this game using the C# WPF application. Then we will create a user control that draws a pixel grid provided by the tile manager to the screen. Tile manager will update its tiles using rules for every frame. Then our control will draw the tiles. User input will be handled by effectors called directly from our control. And then we will have some fun, guys. Let's do it. At first, I created a tile manager class that will manage our tiles. Then I defined a struct that will represent our tile, so we can add more tile properties in the future. But for now, the type property will do its job. Now that we have our tile, we can make an array that will hold our tile data. For the dimensions of the array, I made two properties in our tile set manage, so we can easily access them. Then I implemented a bunch of methods for working with our array, so we don't need to worry about breaking things down in future expansions. Now that we have a tile manager, let's create a new class for the rules of our tiles. By creating a new class for each of the tile rules, we can organize code more easily and enhance code readability and expansibility. Our rule class will have the apply method that provides us with a bunch of useful arguments for working with each tile. Every rule will be stored in the rule list inside our tile manager class. Then I implemented the update method for our tile manager that calls all rules for each tile. Then I implemented simple rules for gravity. And the simple rule for slides. And now we have some basic rules to work with. Now let's create a draw canvas class that will draw the things to the screen. I created a new draw canvas class inherited from the framework element, so we can use code to draw simple shapes on the screen. Then I implemented our drawing function that will draw yellow square tiles with type of 1. And I also added a bunch of overrides necessary for our drawing to work. I wrapped our draw canvas in a new control called draw canvas control, so we can add some other controls below our screen later. And now the moment of truth. Perfect. Now we have a black screen. Yeah. For our game to work, we must add some update functionality. I added a dispatch timer to draw canvas to handle updates. For each tick of the timer, we will call tile manager update and then draw off our canvas. Perfect. Now we can add some input. I created an effector class similar to tile rule, but effector will be called each time the user drags the mouse around the canvas. Then I added some functionality for detecting mouse drag. And I also implemented effector for sand drawing. And finally called our draw effector that draws sand grains. And look at that. Now we can play around with bunch of sand. But the game is kinda boring now. We can make this better. Let's add some heat simulation. For this purpose, I added new property for temperature to our tile structure. I added a thermal rule that simulates heat conductivity between sand grains. And also to see the temperature, I made a color palette that we will use to determine a color of temperature in Kelvin. Then I implemented a method for interpolating between these palette values. Awesome. We can finally enjoy our own sand simulator. But in my opinion, the project was quite interesting, and I enjoyed writing every single line of code for it. I think I will come back to this project and add some new interesting features. I hope you liked the video, and And if you want to support me, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos like this.